You're listening to Up the Turnpike with hosts Mitch Anderson and Matt O'Leary.
Hello and welcome to the Up the Turnpike postgame show. What is going on? I am Matt O'Leary alongside Mitch Anderson. Mitch, I really thought they were going to squeak that one out tonight. Yeah, we have a lot to talk about. And I thought it was going to be one of those games where there's only going to be 3 goals scored, but we'd still have a lot to talk about. Unfortunately, there was a lot more than 3 goals, 6 total goals scored, and still a lot of things to talk about. Mitch is muted. Classic. All right, Mitch is upset. This is the same thing again. Yeah, it's just a classic bit at this point. Frustrating loss, as we were saying there.
Yeah, and it's so goddamn frustrating that this happened because we were saying we thought we had it. We thought we had this game, and then we very much did not have it. And based on what happened in this game, which we'll obviously get to, it makes the loss a little bit worse, just a little bit worse.
Yeah, no, it absolutely does. So let's just, without further ado, let's hop right into this one. We got to start. It was not a great start for the Islanders. They would find themselves down 1-0 after Kirill Marchenko scores his 12th of the year.
I mean, that was that shot there. That was our first shot in the period for a long time.
Yep.
Not even just up until this goal, but afterwards. This is not how you want to start a game on the second leg of a back-to-back, where not only do they score here, and there's not much to it, like just bad play defensively. We get caught out. And there's not a whole lot that David Riddick could do. Stand and get as big as you can in the way of the shot, and hopefully it doesn't go through you. And it very much did. But just come on, man.
Yeah, it's just a frustrating start, right? Like you have a rush going one way and you think, all right, Duclair, can you get this to go? Unfortunately not. And then it turns into an odd man rush the other way. Wide open hockey, which is obviously fun, but not a fun start to this game. Because like you said, the shot differential on the period ended up being 15-9, so not horrible, but at this point it was like, I don't remember the exact number, but somewhere around 9-1.
I think you're absolutely right there. And it's kind of like Bill said in the Discord, PS sign up to our patron and you get access to our Discord. He's calling a Ranger hangover. And it very much looked like that at the beginning of the game, a complete Ranger hangover where we had given everything we had day before coming into this game. Didn't really have a whole lot emotionally into this game. Columbus, first game off of the break. They maybe have a few, bit more legs underneath them, but we looked like shit. And then we go down 1-0, and it doesn't get much better until Patty calls a timeout. I think the shot differential at that point was 10-1.
Okay.
And then Patty's like, enough here. This is enough. Calls a timeout. And they seem to get a little bit more life under their sails.
Yeah, it really helped them. And I'm glad you brought up the Ranger hangover, because I think that was absolutely appropriate for the first 10 to 15 minutes of that game. However, it looked like that was going to go away. And it starts, after they have a push towards the end of the first period, and Max Shabanov ends up tying up the game on kind of a lucky goal, right? Like it goes off of his shin guard, but they don't ask you how. They ask you how many. He put himself in a good spot and ended up scoring.
Yeah, it's like you said, the momentum had been heading towards the Islanders' favor. They get this nice break here between Peugeot and Shabanov. And you're right, they don't ask you how, but like you're putting pucks on net. At this point, the shot differential was so bad in favor of the Blue Jackets that you want to turn it over. You just want to get shots on net. And Shabs is doing what you're supposed to do. You follow the shot towards the net. Obviously not through the goalie. You're not Chris Kreider, but you get up to the net. And he does that, and I'm sure it bounces off of him. They take a second to look at it to make sure it doesn't, he doesn't kick it in, which he very much did not. But that's what you're supposed to do. That's hockey 101 right there, and we get rewarded for it.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I thought, not a good start to this game, but leaving the period tied 1-1 felt like a relief. Like, yes. Obviously, after every period, you want to end with a lead, right? But given the context of how this game started, almost felt like they probably should have been down like a 2-0 after the first. Instead, It's 1-1, and there are very much so in this game.
Very much. Near the end of that period, we have the first Mason Marchment
Thank you.
incident where he goes up high on Matthew Schaefer. The hit isn't late. I know some people were saying that it's late. It wasn't a late hit. It's that he goes up high with his hands on Matthew Schaefer right into his face. And there's a bit of a scrum there. People are telling him that's not going to happen again. But put a pin in that because it's very much going to happen again a little bit later.
Yeah, I think we get right into that, Mitch, in the second period, because it was only a minute into the second period where the melee begins. So Mason Marchment takes a 2-minute tripping penalty against Matthew Schaefer. Matthew Barzal responds with a overhand slash to the ankle of Mason Marchment. He gets not only 5 minutes for the slash, but also 10-minute game misconduct. What do you think of that whole sequence?
It's wild to think that I forgot that the second play on Schaefer happened a minute into the second period. So you've got like 3 minutes of game time max where these two incidents happen. 3 minutes, and he takes two different runs at Matthew Schaefer. And the only response we got, Ryan Pullock tried to get into Mason Marchment's face, but the linesman got in the way. And then Matthew Barzal took matter in his own hands, which was not the best way, I think, to deal with this. I think you leave this to someone like Scott Mayfield or Anders Lee or someone to really have him answer the bell and not do it this way.
Yeah, it's just, I like that Matthew Barzal was willing to come to the defense of Matthew Schaefer. Like, that much we can say that we like to see.
Yes.
However, not the guy that you want to have be the one who's doing the response. No, because like I said, you don't want to lose Matthew Barzal for the game, which is unfortunately exactly what happened.
Yes. And that's an important player. Like, just remember the game we play, 3/4 of the way through the show. Who has the most ice time? It's either Bo or Barzy for the forwards, because there are two most important players. And now you remove our most important player because someone else didn't really kind of step up. Let's be honest here. Someone else didn't step up. So Matthew Barzal felt that he had to do something to stand up for his teammate. And that's not the guy you want doing that. Apparently I have no volume again.
He's got to be behind.
Oh, he must be behind. Okay. He must be behind. Cold-blood, I think you're a little bit behind, my dude. Anyways, you don't want Matthew Barzal being the one answering this for multiple reasons, this being one of them. This is not how it's supposed to be done. We appreciate that he stood up, though. So, like, kudos to you for doing that. Someone else needed to do that freaking like, it needed to be done way earlier so that Matthew Barzal didn't put himself in that position. I blame the team for not standing up quicker. Yeah,
someone else has to do something. And you know what is the funny part? And not really funny, but it just goes to show you in the second period. So Mason Marchment takes that 2-minute tripping, comes back out on the ice after that, and immediately takes another one on Simon Holmstrom. He had 3 tripping calls in this game.
Yeah, I don't know how the refs didn't give him a little bit more. I guess when you look at the play, that all that Marchment did was actually trip Matthew Schaefer, but you got to look at it going, like, he's done 2 shitty things to try to injure this player within 3 minutes of game time. We have to do something. I guess maybe by the letter of the law they can't, but there's an intent there, clearly. Just look at the number of infractions and the frequency it's happening. Do something.
And also, it's not like this Mason Marchment we're talking about. This isn't some Boy Scout, right?
That's right. This isn't new. Like, look at Reddit. Any clip of the play that is on, like, NHL or hockey Reddit right now, you see a lot of the comments like, had it coming, in response to Matthew Barzal chopping at his skates. Had it coming, didn't even see the play, but I'm sure it's worth it. There's a reason for it. Anyways, I'm not blaming the refs for not acting on that, but it's just another thing that kind of probably should have happened in this case. But now we're down our second best player, is maybe third best player on the team, with still more than half of the game to play.
Yeah, but the Islanders would get a goal later in this period. Yeah. Bo Horvat, in his second game back, gets goal number 20 on the year, Mitch.
Absolute piss missile. Holy shit, what a shot this was. Whatever the goalie was for Columbus thought he had stopped it because it goes off of him. and you can see he tries to redirect it in the corner, but there's so much velocity on this puck by Bo Horvat that his redirection just sends it right back into his net. And it's insane.
Nice pass from Polak too, but one of the main reasons why I love Bo Horvat is because he is not afraid to just rip a puck on net as hard as he can. And the Islanders have so many passive players on this team. There was a play earlier in the game where Simon Holmstrom didn't take a shot on net and then tried to feed a picture perfect pass to Anders Lee, and it didn't. Shocking, it didn't end up going well. But Horvat, like, he's never going to get cheated. He's gonna put a puck on net, and it's going to be as hard as he can go. And they could use more like that.
Yeah, thank you for bringing up the Holmstrom thing. That happened in the first, and I was sitting on a bench waiting to take Pete out for a walk, and I was just pissed. I was so pissed off. It's 10-2 in favor of Columbus for shots. Take a goddamn shot on net, Simon. You have an open look. Why are you trying for the backdoor tap in? Just just so stupid. Thankfully, Bo Horvat is not one of those players, as you're saying.
Thankfully not. So the Islanders take a 2-1 lead into the third period. Before we get to the goals, unfortunately, I hate to say it, not crazy surprised with the effort that was given in the third period that this was the result. It felt like the Islanders were just trying to hold on for dear life. And eventually a couple of greasy goals. And again, sometimes that's all it takes. But when you're getting the chances, they end up, spoiler, out shooting the Islanders 14-6 in the third period. Ivan Provorov ends up getting the equalizer at 15-27.
I'm going to say lucky goal. And it is lucky in the sense that he just throws it on net. He's not actually shooting for a specific goal. He's just shooting because there are players there, but not lucky because Columbus, as you said, referenced, they did a lot to generate this opportunity. So like lucky in the sense that he didn't mean for it to go in, but unlucky or worth it or deserved, I should say, because they're outworking us.
Yeah.
I don't understand how we go into the third period getting outworked in a 2-1 lead. You can't sit back on a 2-1 lead. I understand you have one player down and you're on the second leg of a back-to-back. You can't do that. You're just asking for trouble. It's too much time.
I don't disagree with you, but I think you just answered your own point with saying like they were down, they're down Matthew Barzal and they're on the second leg of a back-to-back and Columbus had the extra day off. Not crazy surprising to see that they had, more juice and more legs in this game. But you're right. Like you do have a 2-1 lead. I believe the only other team there only one other time this year, forgive me, I don't remember the team, the Columbus came back down in the third period this year.
Yeah. If you're going to want to wait them out, then slow the pace of play down. Don't just keep giving them the puck and giving them time. Like you're not helping your cause here in any way, shape, or form. They weren't good in the neutral zone in the third period. They weren't good along the boards. They were just giving them almost too much respect, which I don't get. They took a run at your star player twice on purpose. You have another guy sitting out for the entire game because he defended your team, and you're going to sit here and be passive. What the hell is going on?
Yep. No, I'm with you. It's frustrating.
And so now the game's tied, and they score like 29 seconds later to give it the go-ahead goal on one that Riddick is going to want back. But like, I have a hard time shitting over David Riddick for all that he's done so far.
Yeah. I mean, he was playing again. I'm glad that you mentioned that, playing in a back-to-back, really doing a good job of keeping this team, afloat and playing well without their number one goalie in Ilya Sorokin. So on the one hand, I want to praise the guy. He's coming off a shutout and was playing really well up until this point. On the other, like this is obviously one that you don't want to see go in.
No, because like it's just a bad play. Maybe it doesn't come off clean on Marchenko's stick here, and he kind of handcuffs David Riddick and changes his response to how the puck comes at him. It still doesn't look good, and I'm sure he's going to want it back. But like, this is what happens when you play goalies in back-to-back games, and when you sit back, like that's another thing. You sat back knowing your goalie has played for, at this point, almost 2 full goddamn hours. What are you doing? Give him a goddamn break. Slow the game down. And they didn't. And like, you're just asking for it. Yeah.
Cole Sillinger would add an empty net goal. So a 4-2 final tonight in Columbus.
Sorry, on the empty net goal, Matthew Schaefer needs to. He looked dejected when it went in, but he deserves some shit for that. Like, what are you doing trying to go through 4 sticks into the offensive zone? Just get it to the deep in the zone and then cycle it around. What the hell are you doing, man? That was a selfish play.
And in the middle of the ice too. Like, it's not like it was on the could direct. He just had to shoot it straight as long as he could do that. Sometimes when it's on an angle, it's obviously a little bit harder to hit the open net, but it directly down the center of the ice.
For some reason, he had dreams of McDavid or visions of McDavid. Even then, man, McDavid isn't cutting through that many sticks. It's not happening, man.
No.
Maybe 1 or 2, not 4.
He was trying to play hero, and like I get it, and those mistakes are going to happen for an 18-year-old who's halfway through his first NHL season. But it's something that he's going to have to learn from.
Absolutely. So hopefully he takes the learning, the lesson from this one.
Let's do the game stats here. Shots on goal, 35 for Columbus. Islanders with 26. Islanders were better in the faceoff dot, 55.9% to Columbus's 44.1. Penalty kill was good for the Islanders. The Columbus Blue Jackets were 0 for 4. They killed off the Barzal penalty in the second, which was huge as well.
The 5-minute major, if you weren't watching, guys.
Yep.
They killed a 5-minute major. That's huge.
And the Islanders were 0 for 2 on their 2 power play opportunities. A lot of penalty minutes, 21 for the Islanders. Obviously, with the 5 and the 10 is going to take up a big chunk of that. 8 for Columbus. Blue Jackets had more hits, 25-15. Islanders 2 more block shots, 20-18. Columbus had a bunch of giveaways, 20-12. And the Islanders had 1 more takeaway, 5-4.
Like, they had 20 giveaways. 20. That's so many. Like, they did not play well, they being the Columbus Blue Jackets, and we couldn't close this out. Come on, man. Wow, they've got to be pissed off about that. They should be pissed off. Like, I'm not saying that they had the game, like they had won the game and they ruined it, but they did ruin it. But like, they just, some really dumb decisions took the game out of their own hands. For no better reason than just because. Yeah,
and like, not that this loss is so catastrophic and like how are they going to ever possibly rebound from this, but that would have been a really nice gutsy win on a back-to-back when you lost your best player not even halfway through the game.
Yeah, and like a big FU to Mason Marchment as well. Like, they don't go after him at all in the game. I understand he takes the slash and there's he takes a stick up high from Ryan Pulock, which is inconsequential. It is not obviously on purpose or anything of the sorts. Which is why Pulock didn't get a penalty on the play. But like, we make no effort to have him answer the bell. I'm embarrassed about that. And I'm not a person who even enjoys fighting in the NHL. But when you have a player running after your star player and your star player is the one held, showing any sort of accountability here, someone's got to stand the hell up. What the hell are we doing here? This is so stupid. Bunch of babies.
Well, even Cal was talking about it on the broadcast. He was essentially saying, like, this is why there's fighting in hockey, is because there's parts, there's times where you have to stand up for one of your teammates, and then no one fought after that, or no one did anything.
No one fought. No one even got it in his face. Like, there's so many shifts in this game that no one just got in his face visibly, clearly, taking not even a run. I'm not asking to injure Mason Marchment, but no one's showing any level of accountability, any level of sandpaper or grit. Nothing. I'm embarrassed. I think that's what they should be the most embarrassed about. Not the loss, the fact that they didn't really stand up for their guy. They let Matthew Barzal do it. I'm still pissed off.
Yeah, that's unreal. Besides, oh no, we didn't even do the ice time. I'm sorry. I was getting ahead of myself. Who leads the way for the Islanders in ice time for forwards?
It's Mos Def Bo Horvat.
21 minutes and 25 seconds for Bo Horvat.
Least has to be Mark Gatcomb. He served that penalty for Matthew Barzal.
Yeah, and I was going to say, excluding Barzal, who finished with 8:04, it was Mark Gatcomb at 8 minutes and 20 seconds.
Okay. Leader of ice time for defensemen is going to be Matthew Schaefer.
25 minutes flat.
Least Marshall Ward.
11 minutes, 23 seconds.
4 for 4. I think this is the first time I've ever had all 4 right.
Hell of a run, Mitch. Things we love to see. Rittich stopped 31 of 34, 3 goals against, 912 save percentage. Again, just it stinks that this was the result. Rittich deserved that win too.
he deserved the win. The fact that he still gets a 912 save percentage out of that is really impressive because like that third goal was just bad. But like still, my God, insane. Good job by him.
Yeah, he was under siege.
He really was, and for no better reason than just they decided to let that happen.
Sweet. All right, let's do some comments before we close it out for the night.
Yeah, Gary opens it up saying Mason Marchman's the new Islanders public enemy number one.
More so than Mikko Rantanen?
No.
Okay.
So they play Columbus on February 28th, which is a long time away, but I don't think you're going to see nearly the same level of vitriol when they play Columbus. It'll be in Columbus. The next time they're on the island is March 22nd.
Okay.
Which is kind of the same timeline as Dallas, right? Dallas is March 29th, right?
Right around the same time frame, exactly.
But like not the same type of vitriol at all. Like they didn't injure. Mason Marchman didn't injure Matthew Schaefer. He was just a piece of shit.
Yeah. Just sucked.
Just sucked. So we got here from Vegeta says Sat L. Also, Barzal's going to get a game for sure. Do you think that Barzal's going to get extra discipline for that?
I think the 5 in game is fair, but it would not surprise me if he got an additional game.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I'm just trying to think of when it wasn't the same, but when Todd Bertuzzi did that to Cal Clutterbuck, right? The two-hand across the shin. I know he got the 5. I know he got the 10, but it was late in the game as well. I don't remember if he got any supplementary discipline for that either.
I don't believe so.
Yeah. Although, would that have been fair because the Islanders scored, like, was it 3 goals on that 5-minute power play?
Yes, that was, the epic. 2017-18. Good memories.
I think it was 4 goals on that one power play. Just stupid stuff.
Yeah, unreal.
I mean, like, he was punished enough. Not the case here. I wouldn't be surprised if Matthew Barzal gets a game for that.
No.
Which we need to avoid. We can't have Matthew Barzal missing games on purpose.
Nope, not good.
So we've got Andre saying there's no way they can keep playing the way they have and win consistently. Goaltending can't be standing on its head with the team scoring 2 goals every game.
That's, that was an issue, and we talked about it a lot when Bo Horvat was out. Horvat back, scores one of the goals, but played most of the game without Matthew Barzal.
Yeah. It's true. We need to score more goals. We need to take more shots. 26 shots is quite enough, but like we hit the post once today, maybe twice even.
I think once. I want to ask you what you thought of the lineup change with Cal Ritchie coming out and Anthony Duclair going in.
I don't like it for our center depth, especially that we lost Barzal.
Yeah.
But I thought Duke was okay tonight. I really did think so. And Cal hasn't been fantastic last couple of games. He might need a couple of sit down in the press box, take a look at things and come back fresher and ready to go.
Yeah.
What do you think?
You know what? I wasn't the biggest fan of Anthony Duclair's game, and I did think he deserved to come out of the lineup, but I thought he was mostly fine and gave you something similar to what Cal Ritchie would, but it's just really personal preference at that point, and I'd rather see the young guy who I think has a future here, where Anthony Duclair, I just don't see it.
Yeah, so that's fair. Vegeta, I missed this one a little bit earlier ahead of them, but I did want to bring this up. We really need a presence on the ice. We need a new Martin. We can't have Barzal doing shit like that. What do you think of that? I agree to a certain extent. Only the last sentence I agree with.
I was going to say, I don't want, obviously, Barzal being the one to do that. They already have a crowded forward room to begin with, and they're not scoring goals. So I don't know if I want to ice I'm putting words in Vegeta's mouth, but I don't want to ice a goon who's not going to give you penalty kill time or really anything else. And if you want to go like Travis Mitchell, come back up instead of Marshall Warren, and it's Travis Mitchell and Scott Mayfield as your guys who have to answer the bell. Okay, I could live with that.
Yeah, like we have to be able to answer the bell. We have to have guys that do that. And I think we do. Like Lee does it. Scott Mayfield does it. Scott Mayfield played how many minutes did he play today? Like 19, 20 minutes?
Not that much. 17:51, so almost 18.
And he's out there a few times with Marchman. I certainly saw it. I was waiting like, okay, he's there. Here we go. It's gonna nothing happened. What the freak is going on here?
Yeah, crazy.
Just ridiculous. I agree that we need a presence on the ice. I don't think, and I agree that it can't be Barzal, but like we have other players out there that could do that. Even Pajot. Pajot has done it. I'm not saying to go out and fight him, but get into a scrum, get in his face, and like have the lineman pull you away, type of thing, before anything gets serious. Get in his face. You did nothing. He got away with a win here. This was a win for Mason Marchment, and you let him take it.
Yeah. No, he absolutely, like, winner Mason Marchment, right? Like,
yes.
Gets Barzal taken out of the game.
Yeah.
Has a couple runs at the 18-year-old, and they win the game. Like, triple
and throws the 18-year-old, right? Like the 18-year-old made a dumb play at the end because he wanted to play hero because he's getting testy from that.
Correct. Clearly rattled this team. So winner tonight is Mason Marchment. Like, I hate putting it that way because obviously from the Islanders perspective, like, we don't like to see that happen to our team. But the fact that there was no response and everything that, unfolded after that, clearly Mason Marchment comes out winner.
Yeah, agreed. X JP Smith, or JP Smith X, straight edge X's basically. Absolute garbage third period. Why would you ever sit back on a 1-goal lead? Like,
yeah, good call.
I totally agree. Like, what the frig are we doing here?
Frustrating. Really frustrating one.
What else we got here? Andre saying ref didn't call a high stick penalty on Pollock for high sticking Marchment, although Marchment embellished.
He that was one of the biggest sell jobs I've ever seen. They could have gotten him for just flat out embellishment, but I don't think they were going to send him to the box for the 4th time.
No, although they really should.
They could have. They absolutely could have. That was textbook embellishment, but I think it was like, all right, we're just not going to call anything from that.
Yeah. I wanted to go a little bit higher because I did see this one from Anthony at 750, Matt, saying, I hope everybody on this team is completely embarrassed. What an absolute joke. And I can't help but agree with that. Like, how can you leave this game losing 4-2 and show no emotion at all in a game that demanded that?
Yeah, to me, I'm not embarrassed that they lost a game that they were winning 2-1 in the third period. Like, it stinks, and it happens, unfortunately, over the course of an 82-game season. It's really more so about what they allowed to happen earlier on the ice, and that one of their better forwards in Matthew Barzal took himself out of the game because nobody else on the ice was going to do anything.
Yeah, exactly. I know he did it pretty quick, but like, come on, God, it pisses me off. And on that, we have State of Survival saying, I have mixed feelings about the Barzal slash, but it felt good, right? You've got some sort of justice, if you will. The road to McKenna is on.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but there was a lot of people ran to the defense of Matthew Barzal and said that they liked it. Even Cal Clutterbuck on the broadcast said that he liked it out of Barzal. And I understand where they're coming from, right? Like, the thought of Barzal wanting to stand up for his teammate, like that is good. I don't necessarily want to take that away. And I know it might sound hypocritical of what we've kind of been saying the whole time. I think the point really is more that it shouldn't have to be him who's the one doing it.
Exactly. Totally agree. He shouldn't be the one doing that. Big Time 1972 says, like and subscribe. Great show, guys. I wanted to say that I know Gary said it a little bit earlier, but I'm trying to pass on other people saying that. So Gary's still the OG GOAT of the like and subscribe, but I want to share some love here for Big Time 1972.
Thank you, Big Time.
Love it. To Big John Masters, a lot of bigs here. Bring Ross back. Would you trade for Ross?
No.
No thanks. No thanks. I get it. I want no part of that. None at all.
Right, because I wanted to pull up just to give us an idea. He's played 37 games. He actually has 10 points this year, which is a career high. But he's like, I don't want to ice. Like I said earlier, they already, as is, have a crowded forward room. They can't figure out what 12 they want to run out there. And we're going to toss him out for 7 minutes a night to not play on the penalty kill or really do anything else that a bottom six forward might be able to do outside of just, hey, if something happens in the game, beat the shit out of this guy.
Yeah. They're not going to do that. And I don't think Matsuda Daksha is going to do that either. Just look at the Tampa Bay Lightning. They don't have guys like that only do. They have guys that are willing to fight. Like they brought in Tanner Janot for a lot because they thought he was going to be that like 40 points, I'm going to beat the crap out of you forward. He wasn't really that, especially the former part. If they're going to bring someone in to do that, it's going to be someone of that ilk who can score and fight. And I know we have a comment here about from Joseph McGinnis saying nobody wants to deal with Olivier. He fits that mold, and we've brought him up before on the broadcast, on this one, and on the Patreon. That if you're trading for a guy because you want to fill in that like fighter role on offensively, that's the guy to do it. Guy who scored 16 goals last year, was it?
18
goals
and 32 points. Would it surprise you if I told you that Ross Johnston has more points than Matthew Olivier on the season?
It would surprise me, but
he hasn't played as many games. He's only played 23 games.
Yeah, and also like there's a big lift up here from the rest of the team. A lot of those, I'm sure, is noise. I'm sure of it.
Yeah,
how many secondary assists we talking about here?
We're doing the Josh Bailey counting secondary assists on the point totals. That's what we're up to now.
Absolutely, 100%. We got Isles Steve saying just subbed to your patron. Thank you for that. Duke is lazy, he says, and then adds just below that, trade a 7th for Reeves. Absolutely not.
Yeah, that kind of is in the same boat as the Ross Johnston conversation. And Reeves is much older too. He's gonna be 39 in January. Duclair, I normally would agree that maybe not that he's lazy. That comes across as a little bit harsh, but I think his play, maybe lackadaisical at times, his play, or a lack of urgency with his play. Although tonight, I don't think is a good example of that. Steve, I thought he was okay tonight.
I thought he was okay tonight. That is not the case on most nights, so agree there. Lazy isn't the thing. It's just what he's doing isn't working out. Not doing the things that would benefit this team clearly. So that the shakeup is necessary. Hopefully, him coming in for Cal Ritchie allows him to push forward and keeps on showing. But we do have a kid, as you were saying earlier, chomping on the bits to keep playing at the NHL level. I don't imagine that they're going to keep Cal Ritchie in the press box for too much longer.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. And then final, we'll close it out with Jim Gage saying Drouin and Duclair just need to score more. We can't win on 2 goals all the time.
No, those are 2 really good examples of guys that they need more out of. I would also throw in Simon Holmstrom and Anders Lee. I think those are 2 players. Although, Lee's scored a little bit more recently, but only 10 goals on the year. I think you'd like that number to be a little bit higher. But those are 4, I guess, technically top 6 players, but middle 6, we could call it if we want to be generous. Guys, good depth that needs to be better.
Yeah, absolutely. They need to step up. We can't win 2-1 every time. We can't do it. This is not Barry Trotz hockey. It is not. And so we need more goals from guys like that. It sucks. We shouldn't be leaning on these guys to lead our offense. And we're not asking them to. We're just asking them to contribute a little bit. And I can't wait for them to do that, please.
Hopefully. Guys, that'll do it for us tonight. Thank you so much for hanging out. Before you go, please make sure to like and subscribe. If you're new, check out the Patreon. We're going to hop off and record a podcast episode. So new episode drops on the feed later tonight. I'm Matt O'Leary. He's Mitch Anderson. We'll catch you next time.